The deck of a carrier throbbed with life, steam hissed, jets screamed, sailors scurried like ants. In the middle of this controlled chaos, an F-4 Phantom waited. It was a beast, low-slung and powerful. Its air intakes gaped like the maw of a hungry shark. Climbing into the cockpit was like strapping into a rocket. The pilot could feel the Phantom's raw power thrumming beneath him. He was about to launch himself off a floating runway, a feat that defied logic and gravity. This was the lifeblood of a Phantom jock, a delicate dance with danger. The air crackled with tension. The pilot's heart pounded in his chest. He slammed the throttles forward. The Phantom roared, its engines transforming into raging infernos. With a bone-jarring jolt, he was catapulted forward. In seconds, he was airborne, soaring above the carrier and into the vast blue sky. The F-4 Phantom was a pilot's dream. It was fast, capable of speeds exceeding Mach 2. It could outrun anything the enemy threw at it. The Phantom was also incredibly maneuverable for its size. It could turn on a dime, thanks to its sleek design and powerful controls. But the Phantom wasn't just about speed and agility, it packed a punch. The Phantom could carry an enormous payload of bombs and missiles. It was a true multi-role fighter, capable of air-to-air combat, ground attack, and even reconnaissance. The Phantom's engines were a marvel of engineering. They could generate an astonishing amount of thrust, propelling the aircraft to incredible speeds and altitudes. But they were also temperamental beasts requiring constant attention and care. Operating from an aircraft carrier was a dangerous game. The margin for error was razor thin. One wrong move could spell disaster. Landing on a carrier was a particular challenge. It was like landing on a postage stamp in a hurricane. Pilots had to maintain perfect speed and altitude. They relied on their own skill and the guidance of the landing signal officer, the LSO. The LSO was their lifeline, their voice in the darkness, guiding them safely onto the deck. The sea was an unforgiving mistress. Storms could erupt with terrifying speed. High winds and rough seas made takeoffs and landings even more treacherous. But the men and women who served on carriers were a special breed. They were tough, resourceful, and dedicated. They knew the risks, but they also knew the importance of their mission. Section 4. Iron nerves and a steady hand. The Phantom pilot. Flying the Phantom took nerves of steel and lightning-fast reflexes. Pilots had to be cool under pressure, capable of making split-second decisions. They were the best of the best, rigorously trained and tested. Phantom pilots underwent years of intensive training. They learned to handle the aircraft in every conceivable situation. They practiced dogfighting, bombing, and carrier landings until it became second nature. The bond between a pilot and his RIO, or radar intercept officer, was unbreakable. They relied on each other implicitly. The RIO was the pilot's eyes in the back of his head, helping him track targets and avoid enemy fire. Together, they were a formidable team. Section 5. A legend is born, the Phantom's rise to fame. The F-4 Phantom first took to the skies in 1958. It was quickly adopted by the U.S. Navy and became a mainstay of carrier air wings. The Phantom was a symbol of American air power during the Cold War. It saw action in conflicts around the globe, from Vietnam to the Middle East. The Phantom earned a reputation as a tough, reliable, and deadly aircraft. It went up against the best the enemy had to offer and came out on top. The Phantom's versatility was one of its greatest strengths. It could handle any mission thrown its way. It could escort bombers, engage enemy fighters, and provide close air support to troops on the ground.